Coming at you live from the Arctic wasteland that is Southeast Texas, this is
North American Scum,
the podcast where we discuss our unimportant opinions on important and unimportant albums.
Yes, what the fuck happened to you, Texas? What hell have you trapped us in these past couple days? For those who don't know, Texas...
Everyone knows.
I'm sure everyone knows, but Texas...
Everyone knows. If you don't know, you're not listening to this because you obviously don't have electricity like 50% of the people in Texas. Very fitting for the weather that we're experiencing. We're going to be talking about a band originally based in another winter wonderland, Canada. The band in question is Rush.
Rush.
One of my favorite bands of all time, and with quite a goddamn legacy. I'd be very surprised if we really need to spend a lot of time on introductions for them.
Rush, the big one, at least from what I know, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it is just slightly big. Just kind of one of the bastions of progressive rock. Just slightly one of the bastions of fucking music.
Getting ahead of myself saying that, like, the fucking good stuff from this band is top tier music. Overall, fantastic. But this first record is something, I don't know. I guess I should have known, but didn't expect from Rush. And I think we should start talking about it.
Sure. Rush by Rush, 1974, first album by Rush. Rush from Rush gives you anything but a rush of emotions. It's, right off the bat, I'm just going to say, this is their least innovative record. By miles.
That's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like, it's expected, considering this is their first record. No shit, they're probably not going to be at the top of their game. Now, a lot of bands are. You think Weezer or...
yeah.
But
Weezer is literally the inverse of Rush.
Like, where they... Well, I don't know if Rush gets to the point of, like...
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong, because... Yeah, no, Weezer is the inverse of Rush, because Weezer's first two records are their best. Rush's first two records are arguably their worst, with like two other records down the line that don't really quite match up. Everything after the first two records for Weezer is garbage. Everything pretty much after the first two records for Rush is amazing.
Well, you know, that's surprising coming from you that I thought you always liked Fly By Night. You were the one that also showed me that record.
No, I do.
First. Okay. I thought it was like a personal favorite.
It is one of my personal favorites, but like just looking at I don't know, looking at like the quality and like the meat to dig into in each one of these records, Fly By Night doesn't quite have as much. Cuz I like Fly By Night just cuz it's the first one that I listened to.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
And it's got a lot of sentimental value to me cuz my dad showed me this band through Fly By Night, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I guess we get started.
Starting with Finding My Way, which begins my argument that this entire record was made to be played on a jukebox in a bar.
Well, yeah, you know, honestly, I could see that argument for that, because this record starts off with that fucking pure, fiery heat guitar riff, which I cannot get out of my head at this very moment, and ever since I started hearing this record, this is the first thing I would think of when I thought of the self-title. Is just that fucking that constant.
Very iconic beginning to an album.
I picked up my guitar immediately after and tried to learn this and failed miserably, but yeah, this fucking intro is fire, and then it's followed immediately by Geddy Lee's wailing vocals, which just gets me going. His voice,
yeah.
Holy shit!
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot more to say about this because you're a vocal man. But
I mean, vocally, Geddy Lee's voice is impressive. From what I have heard, he doesn't. He explores his range. He does not explore a ton of different techniques. So while his voice is impressive, it's not. He doesn't show it to be super versatile. It's not a bad thing at all. You don't have to.
Gotcha.
Be.
No, I see where you're coming from.
His voice is cool, but it's not like, oh, you know.
It's capturing. You're immediate as soon as you hear it, you're like, ooh, I'm paying attention to this shit.
It's like I don't know, like fitting that like the first lyrics to the entire Rush legacy is just
basically like, ooh yeah, like that, just this wailing voice that immediately you're just like, I have to sit down and listen to this. This guy is talking right now, and he's like commanding the room. And with this whole song being as hard and heavy as it is, it really just fits perfectly into place.
Yeah, no, it's a really good starting track. And one of the things I like a lot about this song, Rush has always liked doing interesting rhythms in music. So the fact that the choruses have Geddy completely off the rhythm is very fitting.
Okay, yeah, because I know you're gonna have a lot more to say about this than me, because I know very little about Rush. This is coming from a perspective of someone who has listened to very little, I guess you could even say hard rock, like back in the 1970s and 1960s and anything after that. I mean, I've gotten into, I like Pink Floyd, but this is a relatively new territory for me in terms of a music genre, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So to me, a lot of this is just like a very standard but very good hard rock track from what I can just tell.
Yeah. No, it's a perfect opener. All it does is establish the sound that is not really going to be changed through the entire record, but it establishes the sound well and it brings you into it. It's very fun.
Yeah.
The guitar interlude is very fun. There's lots of character, and that character is very fun.
Yeah, I will definitely say that this album is pretty much held up by Alex Lifeson's guitar playing here.
Oh yeah, and that is weird because if you know a lot of Rush, you don't necessarily think the guitar is bad, but you don't think of the guitar. You think of the lyrics and you think of the drumming, and that is not. While the drumming in this record is definitely not bad, it is not the highlight at all. It's the guitar and the vocals for this one.
Yeah, I kind of like for now, like I said, it's just very standard, and that's why I want to talk about it a little later when we get to where we get to a point in the record where I'm like, okay, something's off here, and I had a realization as I was going, because the revelation. I mean, I guess it's not a revelation that Neil Peart was not the original drummer on this first album.
Correct.
That
he joined 2 months after this record came out.
Yeah, John Rutsey.
I don't know his name. He's not Neil Peart. I don't care.
He no, I've actually heard arguments that he was the better drummer, but I just can't see it from what you've shown me. Geddy
I
Lee.
mean,
Not Geddy Lee.
If he was, he never showed it.
And not in this album. Maybe he did live. Maybe he had some better fills. Maybe he did things better. But no, Neil Peart is the obvious, I guess, better drummer here in my personal opinion. I think a lot of other people's opinions. So for me, it didn't become evident until I realized, hey, Matt told me that this band had a lot of really good drumming, and I'm a sucker for that. But I don't hear the hype in this album, and I think I kind of figured that out later on in the record. But for me, it didn't really hit me on Need Some Love, because I think I was just having too much fun.
Yeah, Need Some Love. I'm never super on board for this song until the chorus hits, honestly.
Yeah, I mean...
then I'm on all fours in fucking beast mode, foaming at the mouth from how much I like it when the chorus does hit.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely, like I said, I will probably be saying this a lot, too much for the sake of this podcast, but it really is held up by two things: Geddy Lee's vocals and the guitar playing by the
guitars.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The bass playing by Lee himself is pretty decent here as well.
I'm gonna be honest, I never even noticed the bass once in this entire record.
This is the one song where I think I did notice it, because it was jumping around everywhere. I mean, it's fantastic. It's bluesy. It's very talented musician playing, but it's not something that stands out as oh, I need to rave about this. I need to talk about this sort of thing.
Yeah. It's just another fun track, Finding My Way, with Rush's unique flavor kind of sprinkled over it.
I really do like the chorus and the melody and the way, Geddy Lee's just wailing about, but the bridge on the song is actually something that I find extremely fire. Holy shit. Particularly because of the solo behind those just gut punch power chords. The song stops for those moments, and then it just continues right after. And I really love that part in particular.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I guess with this whole album, it's a lot of the same. If you're not very familiar, I guess
it is jukebox music. That guitar solo in the bridge is playing while some dude in a leather jacket is just drinking a really, really low ABV beer and trying to look cool while doing it.
He's drinking like a.
I don't know.
I'm not smart enough at beer for making any references to beer.
I
was like, wait a minute. I was like, what beer do I know?
That's the best joke that we've ever done in this podcast.
We don't know. We're not old. Well, first of all, you're not even old enough to drink. Second of all, I need more beer. I guess that's an excuse for me to go out to the bar.
And lyrically, I don't know if we talked about this for Finding My Way.
We didn't.
But lyrically, for the first 7 tracks in this album, we're not really going to talk about much.
The only 7 tracks in the album, in an album that consists of 8 tracks. We're not really going to mention anything lyrically. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I know a lot about Rush in terms of what you've told me. And from what you've told me...
you've heard my very biased opinions that I've just been, like, force-feeding into your mouth.
Well, at the same time, you do that, and I'm like, I listen to the music, and I'm like, yeah, this holds up from what I think Matt's telling me, so I don't see why not to just assume that, like, everything you say for this band is going to be pretty damn good. But the lyrics on here, when you've told me that they're very good, not on this particular album, but Rush in general, this is like, for Rush.
Yeah, every single one of these songs, lyrically, it's pretty much just the name. Need Some Love, Geddy Lee just needs some love.
Yeah.
That's it. Finding My Way, Geddy Lee is finding his way. And Take a Friend, what he wants you to do is find one of your friends, sedate, and kidnap them.
No, that's not it. I'm pretty sure it's not it.
Take a Friend was my personal favorite off the record for the longest time, just from how solid the chorus is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I like this one, but I mean, at this point, it's because all these songs are very just nonsensical fun, very talented playing, very just good vocals. I mean, there's not much here. But in terms of just picking and choosing favorites, it really just comes down to personal preference because a lot of these songs all have very similar styles, very similar sounds. You know, it's not like it's an experimental rock record where there's like 50 million sounds coming at you left ear to right ear. It's the same. It's
not like it's a prog rock record.
It's not like it's a prog rock record either. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me that, like, while listening, I was like, wait, there's not that much prog rock on here. Or there's none at all,
There's pretty
honestly.
much no prog in this. There's, like, some slight progginess in tracks 7 and 8.
Yeah, slight. I mean, it's not enough.
But for the first 3 quarters of the album, no.
Yeah.
The thing about Take a Friend that made me enjoy it as much as I did for, like, quite a while when I first was listening to this record, how fun everything has been, it just takes that fun and powers up that fun by like tenfold. It's just fun. And one of my favorite details of this song, probably another reason that I like it as much as I do, is if you listen really closely, you can kind of hear the old chorus effect where they literally had to record Geddy's voice multiple times over itself.
Yeah, because back then they didn't have that many tracks. They didn't have. There's like not. It's not like you're working on Pro Tools. Fuck. It's not like you're working on FL Studio in the album in the 70s because that doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're not using Adobe Photoshop to edit your music.
You're using film. No, wait, that's not film. Whatever they use on the tape recorders. You know, black stuff that goes on there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're using the black stuff. That's what they used to record back then.
What was film made out of?
They were very racially insensitive around that time.
No! That's not what I meant! Oh, whatever.
No!
Okay, we're getting off topic. Let's not have another Beck. What was I gonna say? That this one's very bluesy compared to the other two. And there's that, like, if it's not prog rock that's showing up, it's more blues rock that's showing up on this one in particular. And I don't know how Fly By Night sounds, but yeah, this one just seems more bluesy, more hard rock, classic. It sounds very similar to another band who is very popular in this genre, Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
Which I have heard comparisons to because there's like a long chain of just comparison to this band with inclusion of another artist / band that we probably will talk about, Greta Van Fleet. But I don't know. I guess my whole point of it was that it's very standard. It's very standard.
Greta Van Fleet, the better Led Zeppelin.
That's not true. What's wrong with you? I know you're saying that just to get a reaction out of me, because I know for a fact you have not listened to Greta Van Fleet.
I've not heard either.
Yeah. Oh, fuck off, man. But whatever. Take a friend. Yeah.
Either way, it's still got some like Rush interesting things to it. Rush brand interest with stuff like the composition, how it fades in with the same composition that it fades out with. This song has quite a few details that make it more interesting than what we've heard up to this point, to me.
Yeah. I also love the random guitar riff that just ends the track fading away into the distance. Almost sounds like a new
Yeah, that's
track.
the same one that intros it.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
It's a cool detail. It's like taking you into this moment. You take a friend, and then you bring that friend out of the song into Here Again.
Into Here Again, which is the slowest track.
Which is a tonal shift and a slower song. It's Rush's first quote-unquote long song, but it's baby shit compared to everything else that they're gonna do in the future.
When you say long song, you mean that literally. Like, it is long. Like,
yeah,
sound-wise and runtime-wise, it is long. That's it.
Yeah. Not like compositionally.
No.
It doesn't have a lot of like changing in it. No. It does have an insanely fucking solid guitar riff that drives the entire song.
Yes, and the bluesy feel to it, the slow pacedness of it, I actually kind of feel just a bit of slow burn in this track that I actually really like, building up to that bridge and then the guitar solo. But I could also see the argument that it takes too long to really do anything. But for me, it's just a vibe. I like it.
Yeah, no, this whole album is just a vibe.
Yeah.
I think that the build-up to... Because it is a slow burn, like you were talking about. And I will say, I like the build-up instrumentally a lot, but I think that Geddy's voice is mixed a little bit too low when it hits. And what's funny is apparently during their tour for their first tour that they did for this record, their sound problem was the exact opposite, and Geddy was like 9 times louder than everything else. You know, it's just hit me, and it's kind of weird. Their last record, Clockwork Angels, a lot of people's biggest gripe with it is the mixing being weird. So they kind of went like full circle there.
That's... Yeah, I guess you could say that they came around with that whole thing. But I mean, like, you're releasing a hard rock album in 2012. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't even remember how Clockwork Angels sounds.
I don't know how it sounds. But
we're going to get to that when we get to that. But all I'm going to say is don't expect a lot when we get to Clockwork Angels.
Who knows? I don't know anything about Rush. I'll just trust, like I said, trust Matt's word on everything Rush, because I don't know anything except the band members, and that's it. And some songs. And albums. Mm-hmm. I guess I do know a little more about Rush, but still,
you know quite a bit.
Yeah, whatever. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, to What You're Doing, which is, right now, what I'm doing is knowing nothing about what to say about this song. I only have one note.
What You're Doing is a relative low point on the record, but I do actually have something to say that since you told me earlier that you don't listen to Led Zeppelin, you don't really notice that this song kind of sounds like their song Heartbreaker. But whatever. I think that's a comparison that has
Wait,
been
no,
made.
Julian, let me give you the reaction that you wanted. Oh my god, you're right. What the hell?
I don't need your sympathy for not listening to Led Zeppelin or whatever. Yeah, this song kind of sounds like that. What You're Doing is just fine. Like for me, I just like you have only one note down, I have one note as well, and it says, "Do I even have to say it at this point?" Alex Lifeson. His guitar, damn good. That's it.
It's really good, yeah.
I just and even I feel like I'm talking in circles here, because even lyrically,
that's what this record does to you. You are talking in circles until we get to the 7th and 8th tracks.
Pretty much. I mean,
I'll say that the guitar interludes that are like sprinkled through this song are very interesting, but at the same time, it blends into the rest of the sound that we've been hearing so far. That it's still just a album to have on in the background while you have time traveled to the 70s to be in a bar.
Why don't we do so many of these records where we're like, yeah, every single song is the same. Next one.
Because this one has a legacy coming after it.
Yeah. this is the oldest record we've done. So, like, by nature of just being a band that's huge, it does have a legacy simply because it is Rush. So, yeah. I mean, not to say that, like, because even, like, Weezer is a newer band, and, like, the Postal Service, both are bands that have legacies, even though they're relatively newer. But, like, it's more common to find the older band that has been around for long, and you've seen the test of time, like, work on them. They hold up.
I mean, part of the point of this episode is to just establish Rush.
That's a good point.
This episode is serving the same purpose as this album.
Pretty much, honestly. And were they popular? Were they, like, popular when this album came out? Did they get big off of this?
They got popular with the last song on the track list, but I don't really know how popular.
Okay, I guess, like, I would have liked to see...
it was in Canada, and I think Canada's population is about, like, 7 people, so...
Scott Pilgrim lives
Given the fact that there were only... there's only 4 more people in Canada than there are members in Rush, it's not surprising that this album saw a lot of success.
It's always been, like, interesting to me to be like, what is the context that this record came out in, or a record came out in, and, like, how popular it was compared to, I don't know, whatever was hot at the time, or vice versa. How big did it get? How big was this band? Like, because people say, like, when you were there, they were the thing. Nowadays, not at all. But when you were there, they were the biggest rock band in the world, or biggest song in the world. I heard it over and over and over again. Like, I'd love to just go back in time and see how Rush started. Honestly, a band like this, especially because, holy shit, their live shows must have been insane.
Not the first ones, but as you got later on.
Yeah, no, but to see the gradual build up of that.
Yeah, no, I would literally murder another human being easily to and don't take that soundbite out of context to listen to the live recording of A Show of Hands.
Oh, God.
But going back to the record, What You're Doing is cool. In the Mood, Geddy Lee is Horny, the song.
Yeah, they brought out the cowbell for this one, which got me interested for a minute, but then it didn't come back, so I was like, oh, okay. That's literally it. This is my least favorite track on the record, by the way. Not because it does anything bad. It's very average.
It's the most dated song on the record.
Yeah, it's just blending together with the previous one, and then...
Yeah, no, it screams the time when it came out, to my knowledge at least.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
cool.
In the Mood. That's over.
Yeah, no, because I'm also rushing to get to the next one.
God, that laugh. I'm also rushing to get Okay. But genuinely, this at track 7 after In the Mood is genuinely when talking points are going to come up. Because I'm pretty sure I know Before and After is your favorite song on the record.
Yeah, but Before and After is my favorite song on the record. The much needed change in pace with this mellow sound compared to the previous. I'm all here for it, and it has such a nostalgic sentimentality to it, the way it sounds, I guess, the way it feels.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very warm, comforting for a slow intro to this Rush track. But it's my favorite song up until the 2-minute mark, when it just morphs back into the same hard rock sound we've been hearing for quite a while already.
But I like that.
I like the way... Okay, I like the fact that it changes. That's cool. Like, it's 2 separate songs in one, and the way it changes is cool.
I'm always weak to that kind of song structure.
Like, I like the structure, but then the sound that comes after is just more the same before it. I guess that makes the sound that comes after more interesting, because you heard something before it that was different, but... So... Yeah, the first half of the song is my favorite moment on the track list, but the second half
the first 2 minutes of Before and After is your favorite song. Actually, we could say that your favorite song on the track list is Before.
Pretty much. Well, actually,
okay.
Honestly, I could say my favorite song. If that's the case, then you know what? I'll change my opinion. Working Man is actually my favorite song on the track list, but
Okay.
That
is the correct answer, by the way.
Yeah, that's not surprising, but yeah, it's not surprising to anyone.
The ultimate test of I was actually going to quit the podcast if you didn't change your mind.
It's like it's a different intro that's actually kind of cool, but it doesn't last the whole time. And I know that was the point, but whatever.
I like it
anyway.
because I think that I had not gotten bored of the sound of the rest of the record.
I'm not bored at this. I'm I'm bored of talking about it, but I'm not bored while listening to it, I guess is what I should say. When it comes to this album, it's really good for just throwing on.
I think how hard the guitar riffs that bring you into the second half of the song, how hard they go, it makes me it's just such a huge change in energy. And that makes me enjoy it. The fact that the sound is the same as the record doesn't dim it down at all for me.
I don't know. I just didn't find too much different with this one, or at least that second half of it.
I like it. It's my second favorite song on the record. Lyrically, it's there. It exists. Getty is just like, girl, you better start talking to me or this ain't gonna get nowhere. And this girl is just like...
Okay.
And then Getty's just like, yeah.
It is time we get to
Working Man,
the most important song on this album, I would
Burning
say.
Man,
Earning Man,
Large Man,
Working Man,
Man, Long Man,
Long Man. No one will get that joke. No one in the world will get that joke except maybe one person.
But yeah, this song, it started Rush's career.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I've never heard of a band where the last song on their debut record was the reason they got popular.
Well,
when is the last track the reason a band gets popular?
I'm sure that there's a band that's gotten big off their last song.
I mean, probably, but it's cool that the reason they got popular because people listened to this album the entire way through.
I mean, isn't that how a band is supposed to get popular?
No, people don't listen. People listen to the first 3 tracks and then stop listening. I do that.
Oh, I guess that's a good
how
point.
music's supposed to be listened to.
That's how albums get front loaded. That's definitely okay. Singles and whatnot.
Maybe they didn't really do that back in the 70s. Maybe they didn't really structure it like that at all, where they didn't just load the singles at the front of the record and put them out. Whatever, that's some weird music history stuff. People get degrees learning that. I will say, going over the reason that this song is as popular as it is, not just because its sound is pristine with the guitar during the chorus, which is one of the most solid guitar parts I've ever heard in my life.
Yes,
lyrically is the thing that made this song explode, because it specifically is relatable to blue-collar workers. And during the 70s, when this came out, a lot of people were like, I'm a working man. No one talks about working men. I like this song. And it made it popular. I like that them taking an interesting perspective lyrically that wasn't really apparently being taken that much at the time got them popular. I like that. I think that's cool. It's a good example of why you should try and be innovative and creative in music.
Yeah, this is the start of just interesting ideas, interesting lyrics in the Rush discography. It's not the biggest craziest.
Yeah, Neil Peart has
idea.
not come yet, so the lyrics haven't gotten crazy at all.
Is Neil Peart the main writer in Rush? I thought it would have been Geddy Lee.
For all the good songs, yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that, but
that's such a pretentious, biased, fucking incorrect comment, dude.
Oh, it's fine.
Neil Peart is an amazing lyricist. He was an amazing lyricist. A lot of the songs with my favorite lyrics he did write for.
Gotcha. I'm sure. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if other band members wrote for it. But who wrote the lyrics for this record? I'm interested.
I think Geddy Lee.
You think?
I'm pretty sure.
Who knows?
Probably him and Alex.
Yeah, him and Alex probably. Who knows? Yeah, this fucking song's a banger.
Easily the best instrumental in the entire album.
That the last guitar solo that takes us on a magical journey for 3 minutes of pure fiery heat is just fucking awesome, man. The lyrical content being so interesting, and then all of it being the longest song on the record as well.
Well, no, Here Again is still longer.
Is it,
But
actually?
it's more varied than Here Again. It has more compositional variance than Here Again, but it physically is not as long.
Which for some reason, makes it feel longer. I guess it's because more things going on. And at the same time...
Not at a bad way either. Not
No.
like it's dragging on.
No. And it's fucking... The awesome string bending build-up into the whole band exploding before closing in the album and the last part of it. Oh my god.
It's very, very good. It's a perfect closer to this hard rock, blues rock introduction to one of the greatest bands to ever exist.
Yeah.
And you would not guess that just from listening to this first record.
No, yeah. And like I said, I didn't know that they didn't really do prog rock on this album until I listened to it, so I was expecting something different. But even what I got, it's just easygoing hard rock album. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit showing its influences on its sleeve. It's pretty good. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my final thoughts.
It's pretty good. Fine. Yeah.
That's it. No more than that. I really don't have much to say about this album. Just
it's like, okay, genuinely closing thoughts.
Yeah.
Rush's self-titled is almost like a TV show that gets really, really good later on. And you're going back and rewatching season 1 where it is tripping up. Not like BoJack Horseman where it's unwatchable season 1, but like
Parks and Rec is immediately what I think of. Like season 1's okay, but it's watchable. And then season 2, 3, and 4, especially 3 and 4, it starts getting its own personality real quick.
This is exactly that. It's you are fine to start with this, and you are definitely going to get enjoyment out of it if you've listened to the other records and then you come back to it. But you're always going to feel like this is not quite what they've done after, but it's definitely not a bad starting point either.
No.
It's easily a 3 out of 10.
What the fuck, man? I know you're messing with me, but like you should see my face when I just heard that off the bat, like not thinking. 3 out of 10. What a fucking loser. For me, it's a 7.
It's like a low 7.
Yeah, it's basically a 7 for me. Very good.
No, it's a very easy record to talk about because it's the same exact thing 7 songs in a row, and then it does something cool lyrically for the 8th one that makes it popular. We're gonna have a lot more to talk about when we get to Fly By Night. And
yeah.
I mean, I am genuinely going to have probably 2 times as much, speaking volume when we get to Fly By Night.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned the fact that all the songs are very similar. And I was just thinking about how a few weeks ago we talked about Green Album and how literally every single song was the same thing, except that was much worse. Like, I guess this is a lesson in doing it right. It's not really...
Yeah.
The execution of it. Even though all these songs are very similar, have very similar sounds, and don't do much lyrically, it's still a very fun album and memorable in certain places, and as a whole is very memorable.
Yeah,
Green
it's like Together Through Time.
Yeah, Green is an example where it's not. It's
because Green is just terrible.
It's just not memorable at all. The execution of it is just very bland. And I guess, it is a case-by-case basis. Comparing Weezer to fucking Rush is probably something I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, that is a very sacrilegious comment that you made. But next week on the podcast... talking about Weezer in this episode. We started the episode talking about Weezer, and we're ending the episode talking about Weezer. I hope this does not become a common thing in the Rush episodes.
The next album is Weezer's Melodrate. No, we're not doing that. We just did Weezer very recently, but we are going back to a band that we have done before, twice in fact.
Uh-oh.
And I think it's time, Matt.
Oh, no.
It's time.
No, it's not.
It's time. I think it's time to give 21 Pilots the recognition that they deserve.
Ed, I am quitting.
No, you're not quitting, Matt. You will be here, and you will fall in love with Trench by 21 Pilots.
I'm gonna be as okay, genuinely, I am going to be as brutal and objective, and I am not gonna let myself enjoy this album at all. I'm just gonna listen to it and try and be as objective as possible, because I never want to live in the universe where I will say the quote, genuinely, I enjoy 21 Pilots.
And I had the same journey as you, Matt.
And by the end of the episode next week, I am going to say the phrase, I enjoy 21 Pilots.
Matt, I'm literally in the same boat as you. I woke up when Trench came out, and I was like, I'm going to listen to it because I get to trash it. And then I listened to it. And then I was like, wait a minute. And now we're here. Now, I've overhyped this album to hell, simply based on the fact that it's almost become a meme, the fact that this album is good in my eyes. So, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of bias for me. But at the same time, I genuinely enjoy this album for everything that it holds in terms of production, lyrics, maturity, and 21 Pilots. You know, something we've been waiting for since fucking Blurry Face, something that just wasn't there when we were asking for it. It's here on Trench, and I think that I'm just really excited to hear what you have to say about this album and me finally going into a deep dive mode on this one. So, you ready, Matt?
I mean, I don't have a choice.
I guess you don't. Well, I just hope you enjoy it, at least to some extent. Good night, guys.